Okay, cool. Uh, this is a tutorial on how to use Tiled. Now, for Rusted Warfare, I've seen a lot of different tutorials. Most of them are going to be on mobile. And let's be honest, if you know anything about making maps or making anything similar, that's as detailed as that, you know doing it on mobile probably isn't the best idea. You're going to go ahead, go into the description, download Tiled. You're going to get that set up and started. And if we come here, here's an example map that I made in Tiled. You can see that I have cliffs here, I have high cliffs, I don't have lava here, but I do have land bridge, I do have water bridge tiles is what they're called, oddly enough. I do have water bridge tiles here. Ooh. Excuse me. First. But yeah. So first things first, in order to, start doing rusted maps, there's a couple of things that you need to understand first. So, our main path inside of our folders is going to be, and this is through Steam. I downloaded Rusted through Steam. You're going to go into Program Files, x86, Steam, Steam Maps, Common, Rusted Warfare, Mods, and Maps. And so here's the path, and then I'll also have this path copied in. And then if it's inside of your C drive, you just replace the D that's here with C. Up here is going to be all of your different bitmaps. These are going to be obviously what they say. Miscellaneous is possibly one of the most important ones to have, as well as units. Units is just good to have. Except for the units bitmap is a million times better to have. So you're going to have two types of files. The first one is going to be the TMX, I think. TSX. And that's going to be all of your different tiles with the properties attached to them, as opposed to it being just the bitmaps which do not have their properties attached. And now if you do TMX, it will open up a file, or that's the map extension. So that's a tiled map, and then I don't know what the X is. But there's that squared away. Now, Tiled, of course, is a free program. You can choose to support the developers or not. I encourage you supporting the developers if you're able to. If not, then you can always choose to at a later date. They do great work, so I heavily encourage it. What I like to do is I always like to get a new project started. So I'm going to name this tutorial working, and you can call your project whatever you want. This is just so I know what files to delete later. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit New Map. Now, this is pretty important. You need to do base 64. I don't think the base 64 exactly matters, but I use zlib compressed. And that seemed to work for me last time. Orthogonal, and then this is required. You need to do 20 pixels by 20 pixels, otherwise your map will not start. We're just going to decrease the number of tiles down to 20 by 20. It's a really tiny map, 20 tiles by 20 tiles. Nothing too crazy, right? Mini map. These are new things. Okay, never seen those in my life before. And I have a... What? Did I regress versions? Oh, maybe it updated. Okay. I digress. So, for the first layer, what we're going to need to do, the way that Rusted works is... let me actually delete this and just work off of the one that's here first. So, Rusted requires a couple of layers. The first one is going to be ground, right? So we'll get that typed out. The second one is going to be items, and this is it's very important to have this layer primarily because this is where you're going to place your resource pools. And then the third one is going to be units. The last one is going to also be, or no, this one is going to be an object layer, and that is going to be set. There we go, and then we're going to move this up to its correct spot inside the queue. Not set, this one is going to be triggers. My apologies, triggers. There we go. And then this last tile layer is, in fact, set. Okay, well, now that we've got that squared away, we're going to go back over here to maps, right? And we're going to want to go over to rules. Now, the way that tiled works is that you can set up rules. There's other videos made by creators that know what they're talking about in terms of tiled documentation, and they can explain exactly how the rules work. But just for the sake of this video and for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and open up the rules document here. And this is going to immediately import all of our tile sets. And not necessarily import all of them. This is the import button, and I'll show you how to manually import tile sets. Oh, wait. Why are you opening long? It created another instance. That's weird. Okay. We're just going to drag it in here then. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to hit Control Z in case I messed up anything. There we go. Sorry about that. So this is output to ground. We're gonna only look at the input, right? So I want to use the grass here, right? So we're gonna right click that, and it's gonna select the correct version of the grass for us. Now with the correct version of grass for us, I'm gonna go ahead and embed the tile set. I'm gonna go ahead and just select that, right? And so in set, wait, do I need to not do it there? Okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna hit like this. We're gonna hit the fill button, and these tools up here are relatively self-explanatory. I'm not gonna go through and explain what each of them do. This is a randomizer button. Other than that, I think that's really the only useful thing you're gonna get out of a brief explanation here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make my set this. I'm going to hit Control M. No auto mapping rules. Save tile map. Right. So in order to get auto mapping rules to work, you need to save it into the file first, obviously. I don't know why I didn't do that. Tutorial working. There we go. And now we can do Control M. And what this does is nothing, apparently. Control M. You're not cooperating. Control M. It says that it's changing, but I don't see that, which means something here is invalid. We're gonna be here. Sorry, Control M should do the auto mapping, and it's not doing that. So we're just gonna fill here, see if this fixes it. Okay, well, we're gonna do it auto map. Weird. Do I need to do double bar? Okay, well, that's normally how you do auto mapping. It's not functioning. It should function for you guys just fine. I'm not exactly sure why it's given us a hard time here. Because the output would be this. Oh. Why is there a null output? There is, null output to items, null output to ground. Yeah, so there's not a null output to ground. Input set. That's, you're killing me. Rusted, you're killing me, dude. we're going to try this one more time, and then we'll move on with the tutorial, and I'll just show you how to import things. So we're going to select the input set. Are the regions set up? Yeah, regions are set up. We'll do this for set. Automap. Okay, that doesn't work for some reason. That's fine. We'll just, oh, you know what? You know what? This is embarrassing. There we go. Why is it that? Why is it that I just didn't? Set has to be lowercase. Set has to be lowercase. Right. Now that we have set lowercase, fudge. Now that we have set lowercase, we can do Control M and it will auto map everything. We just get rid of the set layer. Bam. There we go. Now, what I really want is I want there to be caves. Or not caves, I want there to be cliffs. So, currently, this is not imported, which means I could put a cliff wall here, and the game will not recognize that until I embed tileset. Now that is a part of the map. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do this. And we're just going to create a little bit of a wall here, right? And then we'll show why that's important later. Now, this right now is set to water, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is water, this is soft cliff. Now I'm going to remake this into, I'm going to change it so that we have it as water bridge. So water dash bridge. And I'm going to give you guys, inside of the description, a short description in all of the tiled property names. That way you can go through, add everything as you need. And you just save here. Oh, no, you're doing extra things that is unnecessary. Yes. Why are we trying to save the whole file? This should just work here. Okay, guess it works anyways. Alright. Don't know how that happens, but we'll roll with it. Hope it doesn't give us any issues later. We're working off of Hopium. So, right, that's going to be your, that's going to be your water. In order to get a base in here for the player, we're going to need to go over to units, as all buildings count as units, and we're just going to slap it here. Now, for the base, it's important to note that it'll generate from the center out, and then for turrets, it's going to generate from the top left out. Same thing for other buildings like fabricators and whatnot. And then I'll give you, I don't know, I'll give you a couple of hover tanks, or the enemy a couple of hover tanks. Now you'll see here, it says Team 1, even though this one says 1. That's Team 0 inside of Tile. But here it says Team 1, and then it says Hover Tank. You can find the unit names in case you wanted to plug more that are in there that don't exist. I did that for one of my maps where I had to get the spitters, and I placed them inside of these empty tiles here. For items, we're going to need a... Oh, you know what? This is perfect because I actually get to just show you this. So, we're going to come back out here. We're going to come into bitmaps, and we're going to use miscellaneous PNG. And we're just going to drag that in. We're going to hit OK because our tile width is already correct. What are you doing? What is tile doing? Embedded map. There we go. Cool. That was strange. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna hit this. We're gonna come over here. We're going to press the plus. We're gonna hit string. and then we're going to type out res underscore POL. POOL, my bad. Res pool. We're just going to hit save. That's going to save it inside of tutorial working. Hashtag that. Yeah. And then we're going to select this. Now, you'll notice that because of the way the texture is made, there's some weird cutting here. Now, thankfully, you can just completely override it like that. You can scroll around, find any other things you'd like to do, but we're going to hit save, and then we're going to open up Rusted. Because we're working inside of our thing here, or inside of our files, it'll automatically show up in Rusted, and it'll automatically update. So we'll start the game. And we win. But here, I have a mod installed, sorry. But here, you can see that we have all of the things that we need. We'll give it 10 seconds to reduce the unit, because usually you should just auto get a unit, but we don't have that set up for this map. Or you should auto get a builder, but yeah, we didn't do that for this map. Building a tractor, bam. And it works. We're getting money from it. Now something we need to do is we need to test to see if we can have units walk over this area. So let's get a couple of machine gunners. And let's see if they can actually walk over this. It doesn't look like they're changing their pathing, so bam! There we go. Now they can walk up and down this as they need. An interesting note about the soft cliff is that it kind of sucks. You should be able to make a coastline out of soft cliffs, but it just doesn't work that way. But up here, like we showed off earlier, we're actually not using that same tile. Rusted's going to automatically read this as this water here. I don't know why it does that, but it does, so I support it. But yeah, in short, that's how you do a Rusted map. It's quite simple, way less complicated than I probably made it seem. And you can kind of just plug and play the different aspects. And like I said, I'm going to plug in all of the tile properties that I know that will work inside of Rusted. And then I'll give you the list of layers, the hierarchy, and if you guys know of any other properties, want me to make a new video, update the video, explain some stuff more, I'd be more than happy to. Just feel free to let me know in the comment section. You all have a wonderful night, and cheers.